Alright, so this week's topic of Amuna Mondays was play and then learn, or learn and then play. And before we begin, the class is dedicated to two names, so please have them in mind. It's for Lu'ulei Nishmat for Yosef ben Devora and Gabrielle Masoud Batsar. May both their neshamas have the ultimate aliyah. So the topic of and question of play and then learn, or learn and then play, it's really a bounce off of, I guess, the previous topics of maybe like 2 weeks ago, when we're learning in Shara B'Tachon, and we're up to the part where it's learning about reward and punishment. And it's anybody that has any remote even remote knowledge to Torah and to textual things knows that punishments are very detailed. In the Torah, they're very detailed. You can pay 4 or 5 times the amount if you steal a property, or if an animal damages something, or breaking Shabbat, kosher ball. There's like a bunch of punishments listed. And they'll go on and on and on in super detail. But then the thing is, when it comes to reward, it's very vague. It just says, and one will be rewarded. Rarely, very rare circumstances where it actually explains the reward, whether it's like long life, success, whatever it is, But generally, it's just, and one will be rewarded. So to a naked eye, one would then assume the Torah stresses more on punishments in detail. And again, nothing in the Torah is ever said extra. Not a word is extra, and it's not missing a word. So you'd think, okay, so it's putting a lot of emphasis on punishments. Hence the concept of one should fear God. But here's a different perspective to that. A different perspective to that would be, it's opposite. It's because of the fact that it lists all of the punishments so detailed. You get kares, you get this, you get that, you get lashes. You have to run away. You have to all these different rules and extreme details. Is simply because at the end of the day, there's a cap. There's a cap on it. There's one way to look at it, is that if one kills, and let's say it's 20 years, default. You will always get 20 years if someone kills. Let's just say that, hypothetically speaking. Technically speaking, if one accepts the 20 years of prison, theoretically speaking, he can go and kill anyone. What's holding him back now? It's not the concept of fear towards the punishment. And that just shows that at the end of the day, there's a cap on it. You can only fall so far down. There's a restrictions to some extent. Like if one person officially declares that they don't care to live, God forbid, and they don't care about the punishments, they don't go, what's the worst they're going to do? The worst they're going to do is they can be killed. So they do whatever they want. They do whatever they can. And then some take their life, God forbid. Some end up killed or rot in jail, whatever. There's extremes to these things. But at the end of the day, if they're accepting the punishment, there's not much more you can do. And and it really comes down to accountability. And when you look at it, for instance, let's bring up a specific scenario. I don't know. Let's say school shooters. They'll go in, they'll shoot up a school, and then kill themselves. And so many people feel like that's a cop out. It's a cop out of a thing. And others will go in and plead guilty, straight guilty. Take whatever years, the 100 years, the 200 years, whatever they're throwing into. They put together, they're going to just walk in and just say guilty. Many will also argue on that. Be like, oh, that was too easy. But at the same time, one will walk in and say, oh, not guilty. And it's like, what do you mean you're not guilty? There's literally proof of everything on it. Like, you're right there. What do you mean not guilty? And that just shows that you're never going to win. You're not going to ever make everyone happy. Everyone's not going to be happy. Whether you get jail time, whether the person gets committed a crime and gets jail time, gets fined, gets punished, whatever it is, it's not going to satisfy everybody. Which again, that's the point. The point's not to satisfy everybody. We're not getting punished out here to satisfy, oh, good, now I know that I can't do this because I'm looking at this person get punished. That's not the point of punishments. It's really not. And if you think that, then you're operating on the wrong wavelength and the wrong perspective. Rather, you can look at it and from the point of view of, you know what? It doesn't list the rewards in detail. Very rarely does it ever list the rewards. But the beauty of that is that there's no limit. There's no cap on it. You know? There's no cap. You could get, the reward is so vague because of the fact that it's limitless. They're not putting a detailed cap on it and being very precise, because the truth is, if everything was so precise, like, you get this reward for this, you get this punishment for this, you get this reward for this, you get this punishment for this, we'll just end up choosing which one we want better. Some people will be like, you know what, I'm willing to take this punishment for the amount of reward that I'm going to have right now. That's not the point. It's not that. That's not what Torah is. That's not what Judaism is. Nothing to do with the reward and punishment. And then it stems into the fact of one should then fear God. Being scared and fear is two different things. Two different things. People think, oh, I should be terrified of God. I should fear God. No, it's not fear out of I'm terrified and I'm scared. That's not what fear is. I think our generation of fear, we comprehend fear as a whole different thing. Fear back then was the knowledge of, I know God is the one that created this. God created everything. God has no limits. So there's a concept of fear, knowing that there's something and some way bigger than I am, that has eyes everywhere, that sees everything, that knows the full truth. I don't have to explain myself, nor do I have to lie. When you have that understanding, it's a concept of, there is a little sense of fear. You know, it's like one's not scared of their boss, but when the boss comes in, everybody straightens up. You know? What is that there's a concept of fear there. It's a fear in a sense of respect. And the fear that we have, that people and rabbis, I feel like, are fueling, is the fear of, and then list all the punishments. You know, if you don't keep Shabbat, you're going to go to hell. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. You're going to get cut off. You're cursed. You're burning. You're this. You're that. That's not doing anything. For our generation, this day and age, it's not doing anything, because the way somebody looks at that is very simple. If this is the religion and these are the punishments, I toss the religion. And when I toss the religion, I toss the punishments with it. I don't have to worry about what comes from breaking Shabbat if I don't care about Shabbat. I don't care. I don't care about Judaism. I don't care about God. I don't care about Shabbat. So the punishment doesn't matter anymore. Why? Because I just removed the concept of punishment. And at the same time, if you're fueled by punishment, you're gonna the very thing you're gonna realize is punishments are very non-existent anymore. The Torah biblical punishments don't really exist in this day and age. Doesn't matter if you can go to Beis Din and you sign the documents to agree. Nobody's stoning you to death. It's not happening. It's not legal. There are still laws of the land. It's not happening. You're not getting stoned to death. You're not getting lead poured down your throat. All these extremes. It's not happening anymore. So now when people see that, when that's their fuel, and then they see the lack of accountability towards it, and they can't hold up it, they just toss it away. Okay, it's all fake. Honestly, I can do whatever I want. I can eat non-kosher. I can break Shabbat. I don't have to be tzniut. I don't have to do anything. Because what's going to happen to me? You know, I'm not going to get struck by lightning. Look, flick on a light on Shabbat, nothing happens. You're right. In this world, nothing's happened. You might be stemmed off. It might pivot you into a wrong path and this and that. But again, like, that's not what people are being told. They're being told, if I turn on a light, I'm cut off. I'm this, I'm that, blah, blah, blah. The punishments are not relevant. Despite being as detailed as they are, that's not what the purpose of fear and I am terrified and God, I'm scared. That's not what the point of the punishments are. It's a simple way of the land. It's a simple ground. It's at the end of the day, there's restrictions and there's keep somebody in check and there's guidelines. Operating the guidelines based off of fear and punishments is not relevant due to the fact that punishments are not able to be exercised nowadays in the way that they are taught and explained. So operate off of whatever you want. You want to operate off of reward? Go off of reward. The fact that it's limitless. The fact that it doesn't mention the reward. Why? Because we can both do two different things. We can do the same thing and get two different rewards. And when you operate like that, life is significantly more loving and more caring, and it's easy to see the beauties of God. So when that is understood, it's very clear that there is no start or finish. There doesn't matter how you start. There's no right or wrong to it. If you want to learn before you play the game, or you want to play the game and then learn, it's fine. You know, there's a lot of people that operate off of one side, like, no, you need to learn the rules before you play the game. It's not true. You can play the game and learn the rules. You know, I can sit there and learn about basketball all my life and never pick up the ball and play it. Doesn't mean I'm going to be good. But at the same time, just because I'm very athletic and I'm very good at other sports does not mean I can just hop into basketball and be amazing at it. And that just shows there's no right or wrong to it. Figure it out, what works for you, and go with it. And don't push just one way, because your way is not necessarily the right one. It might work for you, but doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone. Just because it works for me does not mean it's going to work for everyone. So when you have that understanding and that outlook towards life, life is more appealing. It's more beautiful. God is loving, and life's amazing. So I hope you guys really got something out of this. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. And yeah, Lule Nishma for Yosef Ben Devora and Gabriel Maser de Basara. May both the Neshamas have the ultimate Aliyah. Thank you.